Welcome to the Undrafted Armchair Quarterbacks. We're Jim and Joe, lifelong friends, lifelong fans, bringing you fan-driven sports talk the way real fans do. No overpaid experts, no scripted analysis, just honest takes on the game players and the big stories shaping sports right now.
And we want you to be a part of it too. Drop your comments, questions, and takes. We'll read them all. We'll bring them into future shows. So please hit like, subscribe, and join the conversation every week for free on YouTube, soon to be on Spotify, and wherever you listen. Hey, Joe.
Happy Friday, Jim. Wow, what a week of sports. Baseball obviously stealing the show. Busy week coming up. We've got a lot to talk about on this show. Let's get to it right now.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Let's get ready to rumble. Oh. Yes, we're in the ring. I'm thinking let's talk baseball. Baseball stole the show this week, as it should have. Weekday baseball. We love it. Let's talk about it. What you got?
Only one series didn't go the distance, and that was the Dodgers taking care of the Cincinnati Reds.
Yes.
Even though you mentioned on the last show, and I kind of said, nah, the Dodgers bullpen scares me. We'll make our predictions in a little bit, but
yes.
No.
Well, they took care of business. I will tell you this. The Dodgers did not have this problem. They won their two games, and, that was like, see you later, Reds. Don't forget the Reds limped into the playoffs. The only reason they're in the playoffs is because the Mets couldn't win their last game. And, I mean, at 83 wins, you're barely over 500 if that's what you want to brag about. And winning the first game is important. Did you know that Major League teams in the best of three wild card series, after losing the first game, there's only three teams? Oakland and San Diego in 2020 and the New York Yankees in 2025. So, how important is winning that first game? It's everything.
It's huge.
It's bigger than huge. What's next after huge? Google it. I don't know. But it's important, that's for sure. Dodgers, it looks like, hey, listen, I love the Dodgers-Phillies matchup. I think I've been writing down notes. I'm left-handed. My hand is cramped from all the notes I've been writing down about just all these series. This one caught me by a little bit surprise. The Phillies actually won the season series against the Dodgers, which was great. But the Dodgers actually outscored the Phillies in those series. So it's razor thin. There's no room for error. The pitching's got to be great. The hitting's got to be great. So I'm really looking forward to this series. It's going to be fun.
Me too. Shohei Ohtani with the start in game one. That's going to be very interesting. And Mookie Betts said he thinks the Phillies' strategy, they're going to walk Shohei when he comes up to the plate just about every chance they get. So
hey, why not? Why not? I mean,
right.
No one would think you're an idiot if you did it. Now, purists might say, you wimps, but hey, I think the goal is to win the thing, not look good or do the right thing anyways. Are we picking these as we go? Let's pick. Who you got in this series?
Of course, I gotta go with my homers and somehow keep the magic going. I'm picking the Dodgers.
Shocker. Wow, look at that. I already had that written down. Unbelievable. I'm going to go with the Dodgers as well. Now, I really do believe the Phillies are capable, but the Dodgers, this is their 13th straight NLDS. So they know what they're doing, at least to get here. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, they probably have home field. No, they don't, right? Are they on the road?
On the road in Philly.
Wow. So at a last-minute change, I'm going with Philly. I think the home cooking's going to be the difference. I know. Sorry about that. All right, who we got next?
Well, I guess we'll stay in the National League. Last night's Cubs-Padres game was something else.
Yes.
That
was a great series.
So we've got the Cubs moving on, and they've got to travel to Milwaukee.
Yes.
The team with the best record in the National League.
Yeah. And a couple things about the Padres Cubs series. After watching Miller throw 104.1, I think the Brewers are pretty happy that they're playing the Cubs, even though anything's possible. And I'm no expert at anything, especially technology. But I will say I think the Padres are really looking forward to robocalls next year after what they had to witness last night, top of the ninth, down 3-1, nobody out, and they get this call from the home plate umpire, and I'll be honest with you, this has really got to hurt. I mean, check this out. Look at this. Look at the score. 3-2 pitch. Nobody on. No. Strike three called. Not even close. Manager comes running out. I mean, that one really, really hurt. Wow. Can Robo call? Can Robo ump call soon enough? No, that was horrible to watch. But maybe the better team won. It's arguable.
So low, and I think Mike Schilt, the manager for the Padres, came out running, and he was so shocked. He didn't know what to walk up to the umpire to start saying. Not that he was afraid of getting thrown out. So what? But it looked like he was so stunned by it, he didn't know what to say to the umpire.
Yes. No. And the only time I've seen any video of him running faster was one night in downtown San Diego when they called last call. That might have been the only time he ran faster than out of the dugout. Yeah, he was struggling for words. All right, let's move on.
What did you know?
I was, okay, let's move on to the American League. What do you got in the American League? Obviously, we're going to go Blue Jays, Yankees first.
Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't do our picks.
What's your pick? Let's go.
Hoping that the Cubs, so I'm going to pick the Cubs.
All right, I'm going to pick the Brewers, best record in the National League. If they want to blow this one, whenever I watch Milwaukee, I don't know, I just feel like having a beer. I don't know, it feels good.
And beer after beer.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Reason why I'm picking the Cubs is because the Brewers have had all that extra time off. They're going to go cold.
Ah, a cold brew. Why not? Love it. All right, Blue Jays, Yankees. Let me just throw this at you. This caught me by surprise. In the complete history of a modern American League East, again, it hasn't been around since the 1920s, the Yankees and Blue Jays have never faced each other in the postseason.
That's crazy.
It's hard to believe. With all the good teams, the Blue Jays have had over the years, never matched up. Kind of interesting. What do you think? What do you think in that matchup? What are you looking at? You like who do you like?
Well, now I don't know, because after watching last night's performance, now I have to be very careful pronouncing the Yankees' rookie pitcher that came in yesterday and pitched an absolutely unbelievable gem. 12 strikeouts, I think, in eight innings.
Scoreless innings. In 8 scoreless innings.
Scoreless innings. Cam Schlittler. Did I get it right? Asked Harry.
It was almost as good as Sean Dunston. But here's the thing. Shouldn't he really be pitching for Milwaukee? Wouldn't it just be a perfect matchup there?
Sean Dunston.
Sean Dunston, 2 balls, 2 strikes. All right. So we've got the Blue Jays. The Yankees, by the way, the Yankees have not beaten a divisional foe in the playoffs since 2003. So you can't make it up. Baseball continues to deliver when it comes to statistics and just craziness. So knowing that, who do you got? We got to move on here. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about.
Yep, I'm going to take the Blue Jays, upsetting the Yankees.
You're taking is it because of the last stat I just read to you?
Home field advantage.
All right. They did tie in the regular season as far as their record goes, but the Blue Jays did win
Head to
The
head.
seasonal head-to-head, yeah. So
Yes, sir.
not a stretch if you're not looking at the name on the front of the uniform. That's probably a good pick. My brain, my heart really says Blue Jays, but my wallet says New York. So
Okay.
got to go with that, even though I can't stand writing that down. No offense, Jerry, my father-in-law. If you're listening or watching this one day, please forgive me. Money matters. Okay. And last but not least, Tigers. And I'm not saying this is the least matchup or the least interesting matchup, but we
No,
got the Mariners Tigers. What are we looking at here?
that's a tough one. If just off the cuff, maybe now with the Tigers getting past after blowing that big lead, they can finally relax.
Wow,
They
what
had
an
gone into
offseason.
they went into Cleveland, and then yesterday they finally looked like they got some life with their bats. You know they've got a pretty decent pitching staff, and I like the Tigers because of the game one starter. You know who it's going to be? Screwball.
Yes.
They get that first game on the road in Seattle. I think that's going to be the catalyst to seeing the Tigers get to the American League Championship Series. So I'll
Yeah,
take Detroit.
14 strikeouts in the wild card was I think
Awesome.
Jack Morris held that record for Detroit, so that's how far back you got to go. And here's the really sad part. I really, as an American League West, fan, being my beloved Oakland A's, I've got a soft spot in my heart for Seattle. I've never disliked Seattle as a divisional foe. They just, even though they've had great years and have knocked us around in years, I mean, I've never really disliked them as much as I wanted to. And maybe because of Ichiro or whatever, just some of their older players are players that they've had over the years. But I will say this: they are the only franchise, the only one, to have never won a World Series. So when I hear that or read that, to me, it's hard not to root for them. Um, so I'm going to go with Seattle, and I'm going to continue to hope they march along just because of that historical fact. And who you got?
Tigers.
Yeah, smart, great.
Thinking Scooble pitches game one and pitches game four if necessary.
Yeah, well, listen, they probably should win these, and I'm not. I wasn't picking with my wallet in that particular, pick. That's for sure.
You're an
Is there
American
one
League.
last question?
You're an
Is there
American
any
League homer.
chance? What's that?
You're an American League West homer.
Yes. Well, usually I would go against anybody in my division in football or whatever because I can't stand them. But like I said, it's strange that I just don't have any. I try to build up something to root against them, but I just can't. And I was going to ask you a really important question. Is there any chance watching this Dodgers series that we see any resuscitation of a certain pitcher? Is that possible?
Boy. Kershaw?
Well, yeah. I mean, I didn't want to mention his name. Is there any chance? Hello?
I'm not following you.
We're going to see Kershaw, right? I mean, we're going to see. No?
Kershaw
Yeah.
resuscitation of a pitcher?
No, of him. Like, what are we going to see with him?
Oh,
Are we going to see him
yes.
come out of the bullpen? We're going to
I'm not an expert sometimes, even in basic conversation.
listen. That was a curveball.
Let me
That was a
fix my
curveball.
audio. What?
Yes, that was a curveball. Yes.
So, yes, they did not let Kershaw on the roster for the wild card. And yes, I think you will see him. I'm not sure if he's going to start, but I think he's going to probably show up middle relief if a starter starts to struggle. Yes, thank you that's a great question. But yes, we'll see
Good.
him.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think you're right. I think there's going to be a role for him somewhere, and it'll be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to that. All right, let's move on to college football. We've got not the best slate of games. Certainly, if you are recovering from an injury or some other reason you cannot leave the house and all you can do is just hold a remote and watch football, not the best weekend for you. But there are some good games we should talk about.
Absolutely. We'll start off with 3-1 Alabama hosting 16th. Alabama's 10th ranked. They're hosting 16th ranked Vanderbilt. They're 5-0, but everyone knows what happened last year. And Diego Pavia has already come out and said, "Watch us do it again."
I mean,
Wow.
hey, if that's what you think it takes to fire up your team, more power to you. Um, it is interesting that game day is going there. We've already talked about this, and I know it's not rubbing it in about the Florida State UVA situation. But game day was all set to go to Tallahassee, but they've switched to go to Vanderbilt. And to be fair, that is probably one of the best matchups on paper, at least. This will be only the second time in the game day's history that they will be in Vandy, in Nashville. So that's good for them.
Bama's favored by 10.5. So I'm going to go ahead and pick. I think Alabama's going to beat Vanderbilt simply because of what happened last year. Revenge is the best motivator.
No doubt about it. Yeah, they probably got, I don't want to say lucky, but they definitely caught Alabama maybe in a trap game, which I hate that phrase actually. If there's such a thing as a trap game, then there's such a thing as poor coaching, because if your team's not ready to play, every week, then you're not doing the best job of either making them ignore what's on the front of the jersey or getting them ready to play, on any given Saturday or whatever day it happens to fall on. But game day hasn't been there since 2008. Vandy has won 5 straight games by 20 or more points. Hasn't been done in their illustrious program history since 1915. So, they're a legitimate team. So after Alabama watching them against Georgia versus watching them against Florida State, they're somewhere in the middle probably. And I think they need to be ready to play because, Vanderbilt is top 20 in both rushing offense and rushing defense. Hard to believe, isn't it?
Still going to stick with Alabama. Who you got?
Alabama. I tried to talk myself into it, but again, that's a wallet bet. I had no choice. Nothing we could do about that. It is interesting though, really, that Vanderbilt's playing so well, despite the fact they're 108th in the nation in penalty yardage. So, I really believe being top 20 in rushing offense, rushing defense, and watching Alabama play. To be honest with you, I don't think Georgia is the Georgia of 3, 4, 5 years ago either. So I'm still not sure. Is Alabama really? I love Ty Simpson and all that, but Vanderbilt has a chance in this game if they clean up the mistakes. So we'll see.
Yep. Then we got Virginia, who popped into the top 25. They're ranked 24th after upsetting my Seminoles last Friday night. What a game, double overtime.
What a game.
Virginia's 4-1, and they travel to take on the Louisville Cardinals, who are not ranked. And then on top of that, the Cards are favored by 6.5. That's
Crazy.
a head scratcher to me.
It is.
I like Virginia in this one because I am very, very impressed with Chandler Morris, the quarterback for Virginia. Not only did he look like he busted a finger or got a real deep bone bruise hitting it off a Seminole player's helmet, he went a whole series without throwing the football. Everyone was catching on that he wasn't going to be able to throw the ball. And Virginia was able to, against a pretty good defense in my Seminoles until that night, but they ran the ball down the Seminoles' throats. 19 straight plays. They went on long drives. And who did a couple of very nice plays where he didn't hand off to the running back and decided to take off around the end and run for touchdowns? Chandler Morris. He is a legitimate dual threat.
Well, when you score 3 touchdowns, rushing and 2 touchdowns passing. And those 3 rushing touchdowns weren't, quarterback sneaks on the 1 foot line. I'd say he is. And you're right. He was clearly injured, and I don't know how bad, but he threw a couple times after that injury, but he was definitely favoring it. Um,
He's accurate. He can see the field. He can read defenses
he's a
very
good
well.
quarterback. And, listen, this is why you get seasoned or more experienced quarterbacks. They just seem to, they make less mistakes usually, whether they, can throw or run or be a dual threat is just a bonus in his case because he also looks like he's got control of that offense. Um, here's a really strange thing too. So um, UVA, okay, they are 3-1 and they lost to NC State, but they are undefeated in conference play. I know. Wait, what, Joe? I think you just said they lost to NC State. They did. The Virginia NC State game this year, because of the new conference requirements, they did not want to skip or not have this in state or this rivalry that they've had for years. So they agreed and got the ACC's permission to play this game, but deem it record as a non ACC game. So I don't know if I've ever heard of that before. You play an ACC opponent, but yet you've got permission before the game to not count it as an ACC game. So Virginia's still undefeated in the ACC. Georgia Tech's undefeated. Miami's undefeated. I'm telling you right now, the ACC just continues to be wide open. And after watching UVA play, UVA has a legitimate shot at making some noise in the ACC. Florida State with 1 loss. It's certainly 1 loss teams aren't out of it by any means, but it's pretty wide open. So that's a good game to watch as well.
Who you got?
I'm going to go with UVA on that one. I like Virginia. What do you got?
Taking Virginia.
You are?
Yep.
Okay, sounds good. All right, what's the next one? Texas, Florida?
Texas, 3-1 record, going into the swamp against the Gators with a 1-3 record. I got a question. Will Archie Manning have trouble, just like his Uncle Peyton, beating Florida?
If Florida was better, yes.
That's good point there. Fun fact about Peyton Manning: Uncle Peyton was a starter at Tennessee for 3 years. He lost 5 total college football games as the volunteer quarterback. 3 of them were against Florida.
Wow.
So I wonder if there's a little bit of a Manning curse. And this may sound weird, but I'm going with Florida for the upset in this one.
Okay,
To
first
beat
of all,
Texas.
anything coming out of your head is never weird. But I got it.
Thanks, Joe. That's why we're
My
lifelong friends.
Yeah, well, I mean that's a compliment. My wallet is saying Texas. Florida looks. Yeah, I know. Hey, let's save Billy's job. Yeah, I know. If they got a 5-star quarterback who, at some point, will show how good he was or was coming out of high school. I know they got an offensive line that's pretty good. I know. Okay, great. They stink. They can't stop anybody on the ground. They can't run the ball well, even though they got a good running back. They can't throw the ball well, even though they got a quarterback who's supposed to be great. The receivers, they're terrible. In the swamp, no offense, but everybody going in the swamp right now has basically drained it. I mean, the swamp isn't even like a home field advantage anymore. I wouldn't be surprised. I know Texas is coming, so it'll be packed before the game or during the first quarter. I wouldn't be surprised if the stadium is half empty mid-third quarter.
Might be because they're expecting heavy thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon, thanks to a tropical system off the East Coast down towards the Bahamas. There's supposed to be a lot of rain, so maybe they try to drain the swamp, but they won't be able to because it's going to continue to pour. And that's the kind of weather Gators are supposed to be at their home. They're in a swamp. And if the weather's bad, is Archie Manning going to be able to throw the ball for the Longhorns? I don't know. They both got to play in it. I know that. But something about Florida being at home against ranked opponents the last couple years under Napier. They upset Ole Miss at home last year. Everybody thought Jackson Dart was going into Gainesville to take care of business. And Florida's defense showed up that day and dominated them. So
Um,
I'm predicting an upset on this one. I'm taking
well,
Florida in the swamp.
two things. Number one, how did you steal and get a copy of Billy Napier's halftime speech? Okay. Number two, yeah, Dart came in there all right, and he threw darts. Unfortunately, they were lawn darts, so that was unfortunate. But
To the wrong colored jerseys.
yeah, they stuck in the ground, short of where they were supposed to go, I guess. But
That's true. I remember.
at the end of the day, hey, I get it. If it's a sloppy game, maybe they have a chance. But they just played Miami 2 weeks ago in a very sloppy, rainy, thunderstormy game, and they looked worse than being dry. I don't know. They Hadaway. I don't know if his hands are the size of like a Barbie doll or what, but apparently he can't throw the ball if it's in the wet or the rain either. Carson Beck had a hard time. That's why a lot of his passes were short. I think he was gripping it too tight. I take Texas all the way. I think Texas covers easily. I think Florida's done. I think Billy Napier maybe has two more games. They're just waiting till after players can decide to redshirt or not, which is like this week, I think. So we'll see what happens.
That takes us to a perfect introduction into finally talking about the game that you and I grew up with. We've been to countless. We'll have to do a whole show on some of our weekends where we were together going to see the Knowles against the Canes.
I think we could.
When we were
And
in Miami and when we were off to, you were in the Marines, I was in college up at Florida State. My gosh, even after that, we kept going year after year. But man, is this going to be a big game Saturday night?
yeah, it's a big game for, multiple reasons, obviously. Historically, these are always good games to watch. There have been some blowouts, but generally speaking, they're one-score games. I think you were telling me something about that. You had
Yeah,
some
man,
kind of
I got you. It's the
what
year
is that?
2000. Yep, since the year 2000, 18 of the last 25 games have been decided by one possession.
Unbelievable. I'm not surprised. We've been there for many of those. Forget the wide rights. There were other games that didn't come down to a field goal that uh, Gore breaking free, scoring in the last minute, stuff like that. This has always been a great game. People talk about how much Miami and FSU fans hate each other. It's kind of funny. I've always felt like the Gator fans are the outliers there, where there's really real animosity. I think FSU and Miami have there's always the 10% outliers, but generally speaking, a respectful fan rivalry. I've
All of
been
them.
to, I've been to Doak Campbell many times and never was, never mistreated like I was at Notre Dame, 1988. Thank you very much. Whoever stole my hat, give it back. Um, but FAU, they've been great games. As far as this game goes, obviously Florida State probably has a little more to lose than Miami, having one loss already. They're going to be motivated. People argue both ways. Was the UVA loss a motivator? Was that a good thing or a bad thing for Florida State? You can easily take both sides of the argument. I think if Florida State gets down early, the UVA loss will hurt them. I think if they jump on Miami quickly, the UVA loss will help them because they can see what happens if you don't keep the pedal down. But as far as picking this game, of course you know who I'm going to pick. I think Miami is better at every single group than Florida State. Running back, offensive line, defensive secondary might be really close on the secondary. Quarterback with experience. People talk about Beck throwing 3 interceptions this year. Well, Castellanos 4 touchdowns, 3 picks himself. So you know he's more mobile. Blah blah blah. But I mean, I don't know where Florida State has the edge other than home field and maybe something a little bit more to play for because it's Miami's first road game, and Miami really has never been behind this year and maybe hasn't been tested to the point that Florida State could maybe test them. So there's my little quick prediction
Yeah.
with explanation.
Well, we could do a whole show about Miami FSU since we're from there. And all eyes and my heart point to seeing the Hurricanes dominate Florida State in this football game. when we were just talking about DJ for Florida not doing well down there against Miami, the reason for that is you can't run on that defense led by Reuben Bain and company. You can't throw. I don't care if it's raining or not. That defense is what worries me. And after watching Virginia against our offense last week, I'm nervous, of course. Now, growing up a Hurricanes fan, we used to go to games, like we've said, we're going to say it ad nauseum. I don't care because I'm proud of it. Proud to be a Hurricanes fan
We
when I
were
was
lucky to
growing
go.
up
We were lucky to grow up in Miami for
in the
sure.
shadows of the Orange Bowl. Great memories. Okay, so I went off to FSU, graduated from there. My allegiance goes to FSU. The
As it
only
should.
thing that I'm going to say before we get, I know you're picking Miami. Before I say my pick, I've just got to say one thing. I've got to honor one of the most famous players and graduates ever to don a Florida State Seminoles football uniform, who will be there Saturday night at 7:30. They're going to have some type of a special thing going for him. That's Lee Corso. And as I'm about to pick Miami, I can hear him saying his classic phrase in my ear. Not so fast, my friend.
Ooh, good
Not
one.
only was he a great football player, and we won't go through all the stats because that's why we're the undrafted armchair quarterbacks.
Correct. We're
He was
not
a
experts.
phenomenal football player, but I'm going to point it out now that I've never heard them talk about on TV about Lee Corso through all the years. He was a 293 hitter on the baseball team. I'm picking FSU.
Wow. Unbelievable. Lee Corso still holds the interception record at
Yep,
Florida State.
yep.
Dion tied it. And you remember,
14.
Dion, wow. Well, Lee Corso, 165-pound DB, who, by the way, had one of his reputations was not only a great athlete, but he was a big hitter. I mean, if you got hit by Lee Corso, you probably looked around like, the hell was that? It was like a 165-pound guy, probably straightening out his helmet that almost came off.
And
Uh,
he went to Miami-Jackson High
and
School,
he's from Miami. Yes, that's
and
right.
he earned the nickname the Sunshine Scooter. So I'm going to go on the Sunshine Scooter magic. We can't pick the same teams. We got to play homers for this ball game. So there you go.
Um,
There's
I
our
think
prediction.
I think that is a great pick. I'm not surprised by that pick whatsoever. I
Yeah,
think it's fantastic. By the way, maybe not this show, but you can Google this at home if you want. But I think people do not know that there is actually a trophy, and it's called the Florida Cup. It's a gold football. I'd pull it up right now if I had it, but I'll get it for next show. Um, we'll get it for Tuesday and give it. You and I can give it to the winner of this game because
gotcha.
whoever wins the Florida, now that's UF, FSU, and Miami, of course. Everyone knows that. USF, you could throw in them, but it's really the big three. And this trophy was generated a long time ago, back when all three teams played each other regularly. And so the Florida Cup is available potentially to the winner of this game. Florida State would have to take care of business last game of the year. So having said that, we may be playing for the Florida Cup as well. After Florida doesn't play Miami ever again, possibly. I don't know what's going to happen to this little trophy, but maybe Florida State and Miami should come up with their own trophy that many rivalry teams have. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I know for a fact, the Boilermaker, there's all these trophies for these inter team rivalries, so we should have one.
There we have it. College football. And
Yeah,
then we're going to
I
do,
think Miami rushes for 200 yards, maybe more, and controls the clock. Doesn't give Castellanos and company a whole lot of possessions. They might get maybe 7, maybe 8 the whole game. Miami stops them on 3 out of 4 of those, 3 or 4 of those. So they just limit their scoring for that reason alone. And I think Miami's offense is. I don't know why people are so down on Carson Beck. He didn't have the greatest game against Florida maybe, but people don't understand either. Every game he's played in right now up to this point has been a pouring, wet, rainy game. And I don't care who you are. I mean, maybe Tom Brady in the snow might be better. That's tough to throw in those situations. And Cristobal, kind of like handcuffs him a little bit too, I think, in some of these games. So we've got just a few minutes left, literally. The NFL slate is is very lean as far as WoW games go. Thank God for Red Zone for most of them. Do you want to run through just a few and just kind of pick them with one comment so we don't
Yeah, yeah.
waste too much
But
time here and keep everybody from eating dinner or whatever they got to do?
I have to tip my cap to you because we picked three last week. I missed all three. Good
True.
job, Joe.
Yes. I picked Ole Miss over LSU. I picked Alabama over Georgia. I'm proud of that one. And you picked Oregon over Penn State. So it was 2-1. No lines or anything, just straight up. So for this week, what do we got? What NFL games are we looking at?
Bucks and the Seahawks.
Tampa Bay and Seattle. They're both 3-1.
3-1. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Who you got?
Bucks on the road.
Jim's got that. Seattle's not overwhelming me at all, but without Mike Evans, and I'm not sure. I probably will have Baker in my fantasy lineup, so I think I'm going to go with Tampa Bay as well. Broncos and Eagles.
Yep. Man, I'll tell you what. I can't pick against Philadelphia. I'm hoping for an upset because, 72 Dolphins, we're already starting. There's only two NFL teams left that are undefeated now, the Bills and the Eagles. So I just want to see the Eagles get an L on that column, but I just don't think it'll be against Denver.
It's at Philadelphia, if I'm not
Yep.
mistaken, as well. I mean, excuse me, Jackson Dart. That's why I'm not an expert. Um, I just don't think the Broncos offense is going to be able to move the ball with
Bo Nix.
consistency against the Philadelphia Eagles defense. I just don't
Not
see it.
sold on Bo.
I mean, I like Bo Nix. He's going to run. I think he's going to run a lot, so he'll get some decent yardage on the ground. But I just don't see them moving it. I don't think Bo Nix is going to be enough, and the Broncos don't have enough to score enough points against the Eagles, in my opinion. Commanders, Chargers.
Boy, I'm going to take the Commanders.
Okay.
Chargers did not look impressive last week. Is there something going on with Justin Herbert?
I don't think. I
Herbert?
don't think. I don't
Herbert?
think. I don't think Herbert is hurt or anything. He looked okay. To be honest with you, I don't look at the lines too much. Chargers are favored, maybe because of home court.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go with the Chargers because the Chargers. One thing about Harbaugh, man, he's kind of building a really solid defense with them, so that keeps him in most games right now. I know that it's second year, so he still has some work to do. But by the way, is Daniels cleared? Is it for sure he's playing?
Oh, no. That's why we're not experts.
Yeah.
So what?
No, we don't.
Somebody will
Well,
fill in.
that's
Yep.
also because the NFL, doesn't announce it till 11:58, 12:58 Eastern time. And then honorable mention game. Oh, by the way, so I took the Chargers on that one. Yep, just make sure. And then honorable mention: Dolphins against the Carolina Panthers. No offense to anyone, but if you do not follow, live, or love the Dolphins or Panthers, you won't even know this game is on. Um, it'll be like you'll just go right past it on any kind of a list of games this weekend. So I'm saying thank you, Red Zone. There's about 20,000 fans saying thank you, NFL Ticket. But other than that, I'm
Gotcha.
going to pick the Dolphins because the
Yeah.
Panthers.
Me
Uh,
too.
I forget the coach's name, but he's obviously dead man walking. No offense. That team stinks, man. How did Bryce Young go from top pick to just looking completely inept, like he's never played football in his life? I don't know.
Offensive line. I hope the Dolphins win again so I can wear this shirt all week again next week. But wait, I'll actually change and I'll wear this Warwick Dunn autographed jersey if the
Uh,
Seminoles can get past
Very
the
nice.
mighty Miami Hurricanes. Right there.
That's fantastic. I would put on my Hurricanes attire as well, but since it's over 24 years old, because I haven't bought any new stuff. It doesn't fit anymore. Hopefully, Cristobal in year 4 makes me motivated enough to spend the $50 or more on actual, real hurricane paraphernalia. All right, well, with that, great. Let's watch. Keep your eye on the baseball. Baseball's going to be fantastic. These series look great on paper. There's enough good games in college and pros to keep our eye on some of it. And we will see you all next episode, which will be first of next week when we follow up on these games and go over our picks. So just remember, that's it for this episode of the Undrafted Armchair Quarterbacks with Jim and Joe. Thanks for checking us out and hanging with us for some real fan-driven sports talk.
Don't forget, your comments are a part of the show. We will bring them in. We've had a couple of comments already. We appreciate it. We will bring them in. We'll feature them in future episodes. We want the smack. Bring the Gator smack. Bring the Cane smack. Bring the Knowles smack. Any other team smack. We don't care. We'll read them and we'll feature them. And be sure to like, subscribe, and catch us on every week for free on YouTube, Spotify real soon, and wherever you listen. Thank you for joining us. Love you, Joe.
Hey, love you, Jim. And that's right. He said free. All right. See you guys next time. Take care.